Hi everyone, very good morning and welcome to this morning boost where we talk about 5 quick questions of the day. And apart from this, we also meet at 10 o'clock daily in the evening, so 10 p.m. as well after this, and 10 p.m. we have IOTD. But apart from that, today we also have another session which is at 9 p.m. and I really want to tell you about that session because I'm as excited as the students, so am I, because today for the first time I get to listen to the other side of the screen. That is, I get to listen to the students for the very first time on the platform, because we have raise a hand session which we are going to have. This is at sharp 9 o'clock on the Unacademy app. Now all that you need to do is you need to just drop me a message on Telegram that you would be joining in and you have a query, or you have something which is not pertinent to only studies but maybe something in your day-to-day timetable that you're facing an issue with, any relation to the number of hours that you're able to or not able to put in, how to increase your ability to memorize or study, or whatever query you have in terms of your preparation. Just click on raise the hand button. I'll just allow you with the audio access. You can say out your query, so your video would not be visible but your audio would definitely be audible to all the students in class. And yes, it's going to be an interactive session, so as much as you, I'm really looking forward to this tonight, sharp at 9 o'clock on the Unacademy app. Well, for the time being, let's begin with our morning boost. And today we have very preliminary basic questions, because that is what our NEET PG taught us this time, that no matter what big things and advanced things that you study, if you falter in your basics, then that is not a right thing to happen. So let's begin with something very, very simple, which is going to help us analyze our basic knowledge. Well, I know most of you in this question would love to go retrospective and have probably given an answer already, but it's my duty to read the entire question. So should it your duty, it should also be your duty, because in the exam, sometimes even one line changes everything. So we'll quickly go through it as a formality. 70-year-old man is hospitalized after suffering a mild stroke. While in the hospital, he suddenly develops crushing substernal chest pain. Analysis of the serum proteins and ECG confirms the diagnosis of acute myocardial infarction. It's confirmed. Now, the patient subsequently develops an arrhythmia, unfortunately expires. So, you have got the cross section of the left ventricle at autopsy. Well, I think what everyone can easily appreciate is that if I just look at the color of the ventricle, definitely there is this one area where the color looks a little different. Well, that is the area where the changes, the morphological changes have happened. So, this color change is referred to as mottling. We call it occasional dark mottling. And what does it signify? This signifies the undergoing death process. So this was actually not a question to do with any extensive knowledge about MI. This was just to do that what is the type of cell death that happens in solid organs. So in solid organs, the type of solid organs, for example, in the liver, or you talk about in the kidney, or you talk about in the heart, the solid organs suffer coagulative necrosis. So simple, in the heart, this dark mottling is corresponding to what? It is corresponding to coagulative necrosis. So is there any solid organ which I don't fit into this category? Do I put a brain over here and do I put a pancreas over here? No, I don't. Because brain and pancreas show you a different type. They are solid organs, but they show you a different type of necrosis, and that is known as the liquefactive necrosis, right? So most of the solid organs, coagulative, brain and pancreas, liquefactive. Easy baby question, I would say, for the second year new kids. And on the similar grounds comes question number 2. There's a 20-year-old man from China who is being evaluated for persistent cough, night sweats, low-grade fever and general malaise. Very simple features. That the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I get such a patient in our country is tuberculosis. So I read further. A chest x-ray shows consistency with a gone complex. I'm sorted. But the only thing that I want to ask you over here is, what is the difference that you have between a gone focus as well as a gone complex? Something basic again. So quickly going through that. Gone focus is just the focus of tuberculosis in the lung. Only in the lung. It's a focus. However, if there is a complex, I'll have couple of things, right? In the complex, what do I have? So if I have TB in the lung, along with the lungs, I see that there is involvement of the hilar lymph nodes as well. So if there is involvement of the lymph nodes also, then that becomes a complex. So only lung lesion is said to be a focus, lung and lymph node becomes a gone complex. And so probably over here there is lesion in the lung and lymph node. So they do a sputum culture and they get acid-fast bacilli. What stain must have been used for acid-fast bacilli? The very famous Ziehl-Neelsen stain. So now the examination of the hilar lymph nodes, because it's a complex, so lymph nodes are involved, right? In this patient, which change will it show? So this was a very simple question, I suppose, again, and you're talking about tuberculosis, gone complex. Obviously, what you see in TB is caseous necrosis, the one that looks like cheesy appearance. So I'll show you a gross image also. This is a case autopsy finding of pulmonary tuberculosis. And in this pulmonary tuberculosis, obviously what you see out here is this lung. And why do I call it the lung? Because I can see some really beautiful air spaces and alveoli out here. So the spongy air-filled organ. But apart from that, I see this really nice cheesy looking white area. All of you know that the cheesy area is nothing but caseous necrosis. So well, is it only and only seen, like over here I knew the diagnosis of the patient, I know it's an autopsy case, I know he was suffering from tuberculosis, but do we also have any other condition where you can see caseous necrosis other than TB? So even in the fungal infections, and one very famous fungal infection, that is histoplasma, which very closely mimics TB. It's a very close mimicker of TB in terms of clinical symptoms, in terms of the caseous necrosis. So histoplasmosis, fungal infections can also show you this. Well, moving on to question number 3 for the day, and that's an image and a question that you have. So you have a 68-year-old woman who's got metastatic breast cancer and develops multiple organ failure and expires. So it's actually more than metastatic breast cancer, it's the heart which has come in question. So the autopsy weight of heart is 380 grams. They've been kind enough, they've told you that the normal weight reference range that they're taking is 230 to 280. So definitely there was some kind of a cardiomegaly that was there. So then they analyzed the microscopy. They saw the patient's myocardium. So they are saying this is on the right, the patient's myocardium is compared with the normal myocardium which is on the left. So what do you notice? So if I see overall, there are some cardiac fibers here and some cardiac fibers here. But if I look at the nuclei of those cardiac fibers here, they are very thin and slender looking nuclei, very thin spindle. Whereas if I look at the nuclei over here, they are looking very broad and blunt. So the nuclei have started looking like something known as, I'll draw it out again for you. So see guys, initially in normal, the nuclei were looking very thin. They were looking extremely thin and flat, spindle like. However, here they've started looking thick and broad, just like a box car. Just like a box car. That is what you call it. You call it a box car nucleus, which you see in case of cardiac hypertrophy, and that is why probably the size, the weight was also increasing. Cardiac hypertrophy, one of the common causes is hypertension. Let me come back to my options. So now I've come to know that this was a case where I was seeing box car nuclei in the heart, and I am supposed to now say that what is the condition. So this is seen in cardiac hypertrophy, and one of the causes of cardiac hypertrophy is hypertension. So the answer to this question becomes hypertension. In fact, if I can tell you, or if I can ask you, what is your homework of the day? One nuclear morphology I have taught you, that is the box car nuclei, is seen in cardiac hypertrophy. Next, what you need to tell me is what is the condition which shows you the ninja star nucleus. Which condition shows you the ninja star nucleus in the heart? And I have taught you this under images. So I'm expecting a really good response. And anyway, as I follow your answers every day on the different videos, you guys, anyway, I've never seen an incorrect answer. You guys are so good with it that you always have a right answer to give. So probably a very intelligent lot of students that we've got. So ninja star nucleus, which condition of the heart is going to show you the same? Some cardiomyopathy, just to drop a hint out there. Okay, having said that, moving on to question number 4. Endometrial stromal tumors are positive for which of the following markers? Please remember, I'm talking about endometrial stromal tumors. Stromal. So endometrium, obviously, whenever I talk about endometrium, all of you know that either the endometrium I will be talking about the glands, or in the endometrium I will be talking about the stroma. Well, if a cancer arises from the glands, I will call it adenocarcinoma. Whereas if a cancer arises from the stroma, I will call it endometrial stromal sarcoma. Stromal tumors are referred to as sarcoma. Glandular tumors are referred to as carcinoma. Here they want you to know that if you have a carcinoma or you have some kind of a tumor, you want to find out that is it from the stroma or not. So which is the stromal marker? Let me tell you, endometrium stroma is CD10 positive. So obviously endometrial stromal tumors will also be CD10 positive. So the answer over here is CD10. Well, CD10, one, you've understood that it's positive in the stroma of the endometrium. I hope you also remember in terms of hematology that CD10 is also known as CALA. What is CALA? CALA stands for common ALL antigen. So yes, this is the one that you will see in ALL as well. Common ALL antigen. Well, having said that, that's done for the question number 4, and we can move on to question number 5. Again, an easy one. Today was testing your basics day. A 40-year-old male suffered from tachycardia, dyspnea, hypoxemia 12 hours after a road traffic accident. So, there has been a road traffic accident and the timeline says that 12 hours later, he is having a lot of cardiorespiratory discomfort. So ultimately he dies because they've referred to as an autopsy. So obviously he's died. After autopsy, the diagnosis of fat embolism was made. So basically he's died of fat embolism. So first I need to kind of guess why did he suffer from fat embolism. So what I can probably guess is that during the road traffic accident, one of his long bones probably got fractured. Say for example, the femur. Long bones like femur got fractured, and obviously long bones have something inside them known as bone marrow. Long bones inside them have bone marrow, and probably some fat from that bone marrow has come into the vessels. Because the bone has broken, the fat has entered into the blood vessels, and from the vessels it has embolized into the pulmonary circulation, which means that the fat has embolized, and that is why he had that cardiorespiratory discomfort. So all that I need to know now is what is the special stain on the autopsy that will help me give the diagnosis. So whenever I read fat embolism, my answer obviously becomes anything to do with fat is going to be oil red O. So well, let me just quickly look up the other options as well. So if I look at for example this one, that is von Cosa Cosa calcium. So KBC mnemonic, I hope everyone remembers that Cosa is something that gives a black color to calcium. Cosa is something that gives a black color to calcium. Oil red O has the word oil in it. So obviously it's for fat. And what color will it give? It will give a red color. So this is how it's going to look like. Oil red O will give what color to fat? It's going to give a reddish color to fat. Coming to next, talking about mucicarmine. The word tells you mucicarmine is a stain which is for mucin. And now, what is colloidal iron for? So, I would have given you as a homework, but I'll tell you only, I've already given you one homework today. So, Hale's colloidal iron is positive in some kind of a renal cell carcinoma known as chromophobe RCC. Chromophobe renal cell carcinoma is positive for Hale's colloidal iron. So, over here, I was only dealing with fat, and for fat, my answer was oil red O. Well, with that, we are done with the session and we are done with the quick 5. We'll be meeting twice today. As I've just told you, we'll be meeting at 9 o'clock under the raise the hand class that I've taught you about and told you about. And then we'll be meeting again at 10 o'clock for the image of the day, and that image of the day will be on the YouTube channel. Well, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you are also making access to the 25K plus question bank, which is available to all the plus subscribers. So just in case you're interested, this is what you need to do, that is log in and take the subscription either under plus or under Iconic. Plus gives you access to the Unacademy subscription, whereas Iconic gives you Unacademy as well as Prep Ladder. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining in. Hoping to see you all at 9 o'clock on the app. Have a great day, study well, see you later.